Right friends, welcome back to editorial discussion, and I have taken 5 issues for today. And look at the first one, clouds of prosperity, the monsoon forecast of a normal monsoon. The editorial is with regard to the prediction of normal monsoon, and here it takes long term average. Yesterday I told you long term average is the average of rainfall from June to September from 1951 to 2000. The long period average is 89 centimeters, and when the projection is between 96% to 104%, 96 to 104%, it is known as normal rainfall, and if it is less than 96 right up to 90, it is below normal, below 90% it is deficient. Please do not forget 2014-15, 2 years we got consecutively deficient rainfall years, right. So, 96% 104 of long period average, it is stated as normal, and 2 points were mentioned in the discussion editorial. The 2 points are, one is with regard to El Nino, second one is Indian Ocean dipole. These two things are in the editorial. Here you see, one is El Nino, normal trade winds, or in this direction. All of you are familiar with this trade winds, the direction of trade winds. Please look into this, and here also it is clearly evident, because of the trade winds the normal tendency is warm water will be available nearer to the Australasia. Here you see, normally warm water, because of trade winds, normally warm water is going to be there in the Pacific Ocean nearer to Australia as well as some island countries of Asia. So, this region, because of warm water, the rainfall pattern is because of this warm water, the rainfall in this area will be normally very high in one particular season, that is in the normal year. But in the years of El Nino, when the trade winds are weak, then what happens? Instead of warm water here, you will find warm water near South America coast. So, the pattern changes from this side to that side. So, because of that, what will happen? Here drought conditions instead of rainfall, and normally when warm water is there in those areas, nearer to those areas, basically heavy rainfall takes place. And here when warming up of water is there in this region because of El Nino effect, then subsequently heavy rainfall may take place here and drought conditions may take place here. So, this is known as El Nino, right. I have given here, it is the appearance of warm waters off the coast of northern Peru and Ecuador. That is one part. It is irregular, it involves in complex climatic changes. The changes are reversal of wind patterns across Pacific, droughts in Australasia, unseasonal heavy rains in South America. As I explained now, when warm water is here, rainfall will be very here. But when warm water is here, because of the change in the climatic patterns, then heavy rains takes place here and drought conditions will come here. So, please remember, where warm water is there, heavy rainfall will be adjacent areas. This is about El Nino. And the next is the Indian Ocean dipole. It is almost a similar phenomena, you can say. It is just like El Nino in the tropical Pacific, El Nino happens in the tropical Pacific Ocean, and this phenomena of Indian Ocean dipole, this happens in the Indian Ocean. So, please look into this. When warmer water is there, this area, colder water is here, the rainfall pattern is different, and when warmer water is here towards eastern side in comparison to western side, then the rainfall pattern will be different. So, this Indian Ocean dipole is nothing but warming up of waters on one side of Indian Ocean and cooling on the other side, or you can say the differential temperature in the warm waters, in the ocean waters between western and eastern. And when the temperature on the western side is more, that is a positive dipole. When the temperature on the eastern side is more, that is a negative dipole, and sometimes neutral conditions may also be there. So, we discussed about El Nino as well as Indian Ocean dipole, right. So, now the next one is problems faced by agriculture in general. In fact, farmers' distress we discussed as a separate capsule. So, the problems faced by agriculture is one potential question in examinations. I have listed 14 points here. Small land holdings, green revolution not touched all the areas, not touched all the crops, then tenant farmers, and institutional mechanism of loans is not available to the tenant farmers. Then water guzzling crops like rice, sugarcane, and our policies are also supporting water guzzling crops. And next one is Shri cultivation in rice, that is a system of rice intensification. In fact, this saves a lot of water. This is not percolating down the line. Then protected irrigation is available for only 40% of the areas, and around 60% are rain dependent. And rain dependent agriculture with emphasis on drought resistant variety of seeds is not developed, right. Then proper linkages with market are not there, and farmer is facing lot of troubles, and farmer is being exploited, right, and youth are not interested in taking up agriculture. Then cultivation of cotton crops, especially Deccan areas of Maharashtra, Telangana, resulted in suicides. New economic policy of 1991 not benefited agriculture much. Then the next one is a poor quality of seeds, then subsistence nature of agriculture, then mechanization has also not taken roots in proper way in agriculture on the expected lines, right. We discussed about various problems faced by agriculture. Then this is about the snap poles in United Kingdom. In United Kingdom, the country is going for snap poles in June 2017, and if you look at Brexit, this held in 2016 and 52% voted for Brexit. And all of you are familiar with the free trade area and single market, and in fact this European Union is known for single market and customs union, and you should not forget the meaning of single market as well as customs union, and people voted for Brexit. This all history now. Now let us look at the aspects why country is going for snap poles. Theresa May, she is the Prime Minister now, and the leader for Labour Party is Jeremy Corbyn. Theresa May belongs to Conservative Party, and here if you look at the news report, UK is going for the snap poll in June. Previous elections were held in 2015, and as the schedule is 5 years, next polls are scheduled in 2020 only. But the country is going for snap polls on 8th June 2017, and what are the reasons why it became necessary? Please look into this, why it became necessary, and after that why they became significant we will see. First of all, why they became necessary. Here the Conservative Party led by David Cameron went to the polls in 2015. In 2015 polls, the Conservative Party won the elections, and at that time the Prime Ministerial candidate David Cameron stated that once we win the elections, we will go for a referendum whether UK will stay or not in the European Union. and subsequently in 2016 Brexit referendum was held and 52% of the people said let us leave European Union, and subsequently Prime Minister resigned and Theresa May became the Prime Minister, and the changed circumstances forced Theresa May to go for snap polls. Meanwhile, there are demands for independence from Scotland region are also coming up. Right? Now, why it is significant? Why the decision of snap polls is significant when you look at United Kingdom and European Union? The first point is the Conservative Party's mandate of 2015. Conservative Party came to power in 2015 and elections are required to be held only in 2020. But the Conservative Party's mandate of 2015 has vitiated with Brexit vote. Brexit took place in 2016, Brexit vote I can say. So, because of Brexit vote in 2016, the Conservative Party's mandate got vitiated. Hence, the government thought they lost the moral ground, so they are going for the elections. Second point is Theresa May, who took over after the Brexit vote, came under serious criticism, including her personal matters. She thought that it is better to face the electorate than facing criticism. Next point is now several issues are to be resolved with European Union like future relations. At the same time, future mechanism with regard to the 27 countries, balanced 27 countries, and at the same time mechanism with the world as a whole under the changed circumstances. The government thought that let us have the fresh mandate from the people. If UK leaves the single market, then what is going to be the relation with remaining 27 countries? That requires a critical analysis. Next one is, if UK comes out of customs union, then what are the arrangements required? And Theresa May is known for strong anti-immigration stance. Even this is not acceptable to some of the parliamentarians in UK. So, under these circumstances, UK government has decided to go for snap polls on June 8, 2017. Right. The case for mediated settlements. This is with regard to non-performing assets. We discussed several times, and here I would like to spend only few minutes. He is suggesting the mechanism of mediation. Some mediator must be appointed, and mediation is one way to come out of this crisis. That is the author's view. Let us see non-performing assets. I need not explain. Installment of principal remain overdue for a period of principal or interest remain overdue. Then the next one is gross NPS, main reasons I discussed several times. I am skipping this. Please look into these problems because an examination question is expected. What are the main reasons for gross NPS? Next one is non-performing assets, how they can be solved. We discussed these aspects. When there is genuine reason, when there is no genuine reason, how to solve, we discussed. And the next one is, if the bank feels that there is a genuine reason, one way is restructuring of loans. If there is a genuine reason, then if there is no genuine reason, debt recovery tribunals are there, asset reconstruction companies are there, then criminal cases can be filed, then winding up petitions can be filed, then strategic debt restructuring, then another mechanism is S4A, right. So, there are several mechanisms, but the author suggests out of all the mechanisms, or you can say these mechanisms are not able to bring the problem, that means it is not able to solve the problem. So, he is suggesting mediation. Here you see these points are also equally important, and meanwhile para was suggested in economic survey, and bad bank in government sector is nothing but para. So, bad bank means it will purchase the assets and subsequently it will try to resolve it, first it will go out of bank books, right. So, in addition to those mechanisms which we are thinking of, that means already around 6-7 mechanisms are there, out of which 3-4 are very important. In addition to these mechanisms, then the next mechanism in the economic survey suggestion is PARA, P-A-R-A. Then now the author is coming forward with the suggestion with mediation. It is mediation which can be set up by Reserve Bank of India, consisting of bankers and experienced mediators. This will provide required institutional framework and it will enhance trust and credibility in the process. And the point here is the mediators, whoever are appointed by Reserve Bank of India, must be protected from CBI vigilance cases. And at the same time, freedom to take sound commercial decisions must be statutorily structured. Then a high level body before which settlement agreements can be placed for approval. Here mediators must be appointed, and to accept the decisions of mediators, then high level body can be set up, right. So, this is the opinion of the author. The high level body will examine the settlements to see if it is commercially advantageous or not and is in the interests of public sector financial institutions or not. The high level body should take the final decision and it should be completely immune from CBI, CVC, Lokpal and others, right. So, such a body appears to be the need of the hour and government should think on these suggestions given by various experts, right. Donald Trump and unpredictability. Donald Trump and unpredictability. Trump, after coming to power, if you look at initial actions, I designed this important aspect in such a way, it will be highly interesting to you. That means point by point I am dealing. So, please listen carefully. Then before going ahead, initial actions by Trump, he banned immigration from Muslim majority countries, and he is trying to throw away this clean power plan of Barack Obama. Then he is withdrawing from Trans-Pacific Partnership negotiations or TPP, and his point is building a wall along the Mexican border, then ordering the replacement of Obamacare health insurance scheme. So, these are all initial actions in USA, but interestingly, most of these were challenged in the courts or required congressional review, and with replacing this Obamacare could not be approved by the Congress. So, he is having so many hurdles here for implementing all these things. So, leave these aside. Now, USA and China to indicate Trump and unpredictability. You see various statements by USA after Donald Trump got elected as the President of United States of America, right. Point number 1, Donald Trump after victory took a congratulatory phone call from Taiwanese president, and China immediately said that one China policy is non-negotiable. So, why I put here? This indicates the relation going down, this indicates the relation going up, or you can say the seesaw in the statements. Look at the next statement. Trade deficit is around $350 billion with China, and the president stated that the country will impose steep duties on imports from China. The country will impose steep duties on imports from China, right. So, this is the second point, and look at the third point. You see the third point, Xi Jinping visited USA and both had arrived to address the issue of trade deficit for USA within 100 days. There is a softening of the stance. Look at another issue. Trump urged China to use its economic clout with North Korea to make it roll back its nuclear program. Now, North Korea is quite aggressive with its nuclear program. Now, Trump urged China to use its economic clout because most of the imports of North Korea are from China, and North Korea's closest ally is undoubtedly China. So, under these circumstances, Trump urged China to use its economic clout with North Korea to make it roll back its nuclear program. The president also tweeted that China could expect a better trade deal if it helps in North Korea. He is linking trade deal with China's action on North Korea. And what China has done immediately? China immediately responded by tightening import ban on coking coal to North Korea, right. So, from these actions, it is very much clear that he is totally unpredictable in his actions. Look at the fifth point. You see, look at the fifth point. Subsequently, Donald Trump asserted that US could deal with North Korea even without Chinese help. On one hand, he requested Chinese help, and now he asserted that US could deal with North Korea even without Chinese help, and USA recently dispatched a naval strike force to the Korean peninsula, right. So, this is downside. So, these are all actions of unpredictability, one this side, one that side. So, it shows America's unpredictability after Donald Trump became the president. And if you look at USA and Russia, initially there were reports that Russia was meddling in the US elections. People thought that Donald Trump was, in fact, Vladimir Putin was doing all these things. People thought to support Donald Trump. Then it gave an impression that things were moving towards reducing hostilities between USA and Russia. Then look at the immediate event. The advisor, Trump's advisor, branded Russia a strategic competitor and hailed NATO's role in international security. Look at another issue. US Secretary of State now strongly criticized Russia's actions in Ukraine and Afghanistan. And you look at another issue, missile attack on Syria. Subsequent to the alleged chemical weapons attack is seen as an action which is quite contrary to the initial position taken by USA. All contradictory actions, one this side, the other one the other side. So, USA and China, same story, USA and Russia, same story. Now, look at USA and India. Here I am just looking at what USA is doing for Pakistan. Here this indicates that something down from Indian perspective, please understand. Whatever USA is doing for Pakistan, that will be down from Indian perspective. This is from Indian perspective. Trump administration decided to increase defense and civilian aid to Pakistan in 2017. They are going to increase civilian and defense aid to the Pakistan. Then if you look at second one, his own generals are publicly accusing Pakistan of supporting terrorism in Afghanistan from its territory. So, his own generals, they are publicly accusing Pakistan of supporting terrorism. Please understand, this is the action of USA on Pakistan. If you link it with India, please understand, right. So, if you link it with India, this is negative. In spite of the general's public comment, then how Trump administration decided to increase defense and civilian aid is not understood. Then the massive US bomb recently dropped near Afghan-Pakistan border may well have sent a message to Pakistan by disrupting cross-border Taliban movement. So, the actions are not in fact compatible. One action is in fact quite contrary to the other action, right. So, the Trump administration is totally unpredictable. Under these circumstances, we have gone much ahead as far as America is concerned. We have in fact defense technology and trade initiative, we have defense framework agreement, we have major defense partner tag, we have LEMO. So, we have gone much ahead as far as USA is concerned, and under these circumstances the Trump's unpredictability, how it is going to affect India as far as Pakistan is concerned, as far as India's close defense ties are concerned, right. So, to indicate or to analyze that aspect only, I have shown this PPT here. We have gone much ahead with defense technology and trade initiative, defense framework agreement, major defense partner, and LEMO, logistics exchange memorandum of agreement, right. So, this is the issue of unpredictability of Donald Trump, a superpower. If America thinks it is superpower, it commands respect by a level of predictability and consistency of actions. It should be predictable, it should be consistent, and the initial actions of Donald Trump are totally unpredictable and inconsistent. That is the basic problem, right. Some more things will be evident as we go ahead and look at the last one, the degree disease. Here the number of candidates which the faculty at universities can supervise for MPhil and PhD degrees, they were revised based on 2016 guidelines of UGC, and a mains question can be asked. The recent guidelines of University Grants Commission of reducing the intake, or you can say reducing the supervising power of the professors, right, for MPhil and PhD candidates, is it going to affect the Indian higher education system? So, this type of question is expected. Critically comment, right. Now, higher education, here this is tier 1 graduation, tier 2 post graduation, tier 3 it has got 2 tier system of MPhil and PhD, right. And here directly people can join for PhD, and at the same time some people can come via MPhil to PhD. So, this is 3 tier system. So, recently 2016 guidelines, previously UGC 2009 guidelines allows more number of MPhil students, and here as per 2016 guidelines, the an assistant professor can supervise 1 MPhil and 4 PhD students. Full professor can have 3 MPhil and 8 PhD students at a given point of time. The biggest worry is because of these guidelines, MPhil intake in the universities may be reduced. Does it affect the Indian higher education system? Such type of question can be asked. Last week we discussed why there is a 2-stage option at a tier 3. Please see here, at a tier 3 there is a 2-stage option for higher education. Last week we discussed what is the necessity of 2-stage option at a tier 3. Please go through this, we discussed last week, and subsequently we discussed what are its consequences of cutting down student intake in MPhil. And now the present author is putting somewhat counter view. So, somewhat counter view is put forth by the present author. He says not all are serious about MPhil. MPhil degree itself does not result in eligibility for a university position, and subsequently they have to pass a NET administered by UGC or a SLET, it is administered by the state level, or completing a PhD degree. So, in fact, eligibility for a teaching position in the university system is MPhil followed by NET, right. So, all the students who register for MPhil program do not necessarily have their eyes on the doctoral research. Some students join for the sake of staying in the universities. Some people join just for the sake of staying in the universities, and some people join just in search of some other job, just to pass time or to take university as the shelter while pursuing other goals, right. So, it may be necessary to do MPhil. That means, he is contradicting the opinion of the previous author. Previous author feels strongly MPhil is necessary. We discussed in detail previous author's opinion about the consequences of UGC decision. We discussed in detail, and the present author feels not all the people join for pursuing PhD. Just some people join only to spend time by pursuing other goals, and now MPhil may be necessary for the people with socio-economic backgrounds, but not for all the people, right. But the fundamental point, last week also we discussed, is really research helping India? Why Indian universities are not among the world's best? Even IITs, IIMs are not able to come to the top 100 in the world. Here, these two opinions. One opinion is reducing the intake of MPhils will drastically affect the Indian research. This is the first opinion. The other opinion is reducing the intake of MPhil may not reduce the research drastically. That is second opinion. But more than these two opinions, the fundamental point in our debate is the ground reality is something different. The research is not producing, or the research quality is not up to the mark. So, how many world class publications are presented by Indian researchers? Even the reputed newspapers in our country are dependent upon the articles written by foreign think tanks. And is the PhD education really serving its purpose? Why not a Google, Facebook, Microsoft originated in our country? Are we getting the returns on spending so much amount on research? And are our institutions really world class or not? Is funding only the real problem or real reason? So, a soul searching needs to be done by the academic institutions in all these aspects, right. So, it poses several questions, one view, counter view, and at the same time most fundamental point you can quote, right. So, this can be point of debate in mains exam, and with this let us conclude today's editorial discussion. Please do join for other lectures. Have a nice day. Thank you.